Wow. I mean, absolutely wow. So, Jenna Ortega drops out of Scream 7. So, what does this mean? It means that, well, it means a few things. One, there's not going to be a Sam and Tara. Um, it also means we still don't know for sure if Sydney, her actress Nev Campbell, is going to be back. Uh, we're more than certain Courtney Cox will reprise her role as Gail Weathers. I'm about certain that Hayden Panettiere will be back as Kirby. And then, of course, you're going to have Josh Segarra as Danny. And then, of course, you have the Mindy and Chads, all of them. There's a lot of questions to be asked about this. Is Scream 7 going to tank or simply get canceled because of this? This one is a little difficult because here's my prediction so here's the best case scenario and then here's the worst case scenario. Best case scenario is they talk it over with Melissa and Jenna, and hopefully they can get them to reprise their roles as Sam and Tara, and the story can continue with whatever they had planned. And they will eventually work out a negotiation deal as far as with the pay dispute with Nev Campbell. So now you have Sydney, Gale, Sam, Tara, Kirby, Mindy, Chad, Danny. And there's also been some talk that Patrick Dempsey has been possibly eyed for a role in Scream 7 to reprise his role as Mark Kincaid. He was in Scream 3. That's best case scenario. We can get them all back. So let's not pretend that it's impossible. Now, is it likely? You can argue that it's not likely, but, unlikely versus impossible are two different things. Worst case scenario is we have no Sydney, we have no Sam, no Tara. Gail might die in there. We don't know what's going to happen with Kirby if she returns. Danny might end up being a ghost face. Who knows? They might kill off one of the twins or kill them both off. And then that leaves an even bigger question for if they do Scream 8. Well, then who's going to be there? It's going to be an entirely new cast. But that's not even the worst part of it. From what I was referring to with the worst case scenario is that the movie could simply tank as far as the box office numbers. We know that most of the Scream movies generally budget between $20 to $40 million. And most of the Scream movies get at least 150 at the box office. The first three got between 160 and 173 million. Of course, the fourth one had underperformed, even though that was my personal favorite. Fourth one got only 98 million. The fifth one got up to 139 million, and the sixth one brought it back up to 169 million. So as you can tell, as you can tell, that a lot of fans are upset about what's happening right now. So that means that if they continue the movie, who knows? I'm sure the budget would be about the same, if not a little bit. Well, who knows? The budget could be about the same. Let's just say about $40 million. If this many fans are upset and they hold their word that they're not going to see the movie because Melissa and Jenna aren't there, the movie's probably looking at somewhere between 80 to 90 million at the box office. They might get lucky if they hit close to 100 and just barely top Scream 4. So, now, according to the articles that I've read, it says that Jenna Ortega dropped out of Scream 7 because of scheduling conflicts with season 2 of her show Wednesday. Now, a lot of people are speculating like, hey, she dropped out because she wants to support her friend and her co-star. I mean, honestly, there was talks that she may possibly not be in Scream 7 simply because of the conflicts with, the scheduling conflicts with season 2 of Wednesday. So this was long before Melissa got fired. So I'm not going to say that I know for a fact that that is false, or that I know for a fact that she only did it because Melissa got fired, but it could be a mix of the two. It could be. Now, you're free to disagree and feel free to comment about your own theories and speculations as to why she dropped out. Of course, none of us know the details. The only ones who know the details are between Jenna and Paramount Studios, Spyglass, and director Christopher Landon. So, I don't know. I know that there's a lot of people who are going to not watch this movie simply because they're not in it. assuming that they stay out of it. Now, hardcore fans like me and a few others I know, of course, will go see the movie just because we're still curious about who the next Ghostface will be or the next Ghostface is, because, most of the movies have more than one. So there's no telling what's going to happen at this point. And as I stated in the last video, there were so many different theories and questions that we had about the next movie. Could Sam be a killer? Are we going to see Sam and Tara's mother, Christina? Who's going to play the role of Christina if she shows up? Are we going to have Sophie Thatcher as like their friend or like long lost sister or something, maybe cousin, whatever? If the mother is there, I mean, is it going to be Salma Hayek or Marina Baccarin or whoever they might put there? I don't know. I know a lot has changed because of this. So we don't know any details other than what we see according to Yahoo News or TMZ or Hollywood Reporter or Screen Rant or Joe Blow or Film Rise, Films slash Film, whatever the one is called. You know what I'm talking about. So Scream fans are up in arms, and this hashtag Justice for Melissa is really taking off. And by the way, people, again, side note, usually people use that hashtag when it comes to somebody who is deceased. I mean, you're talking justice for Trayvon Martin, justice for Eric Garner, justice for Michael Brown. It's whatever. But, I mean, hey, I'm not saying I don't support it because I really would like for both of them to come back. And one more point I'll make is that with Melissa and Jenna being gone, there's talk that opens up the door to possibly give Neve Campbell a higher pay, and that'll kind of encourage her more to return back, and she'll be the face of the franchise again as she's been throughout the years. And that'll make room for Patrick Dempsey to return as Mark Kincaid, as I stated earlier. And would that change the plans is Gail going to survive the 7th movie? Is Kirby going to be back and she going to survive? What about the twins? Are they going to get more screen time, even more so than they did in the 6th movie? So many questions. And I mean, hey, Wednesday's a good show, and I congratulate Jenna Ortega for, all her work with what she's doing, and Melissa, and all of them, really. So that's it. So Melissa Barrera and Jenna Ortega, as of right now, are not going to be in Scream 7. They said that the movie is supposed to be released in late 2024 or early 2025. But after this right here, I'm more than certain it's probably not going to be till 2025. So this is crazy, to say the least. So I don't know what's going to happen at this point, and none of you know what's going to happen at this point. We're just going to keep discussing it, debating it, speculating. So we'll see what Scream 7 brings us. This is wild.